Okay, so today we're doing the Zones of Crustal Activity Lab. Looks like that. And basically what we're doing is we want to find out what relationship exists between certain activities that take place in the Earth's crust. So one of those activities is mountain building, all right? We want to look at where the mountain chains are in the world. And here we have a list of 15 relatively active volcanoes. Now, when I say relatively active, if a volcano's erupted in the last couple hundred years or so, a few hundred years or so, it's considered an active volcano. So these are relatively active volcanoes right there with their latitudes and longitudes. Right here are 15, the latitude and longitudes of 15 significant earthquakes. And what we want to do is we want to plot these on a map and see how they relate to each other in addition to mountain ranges. All right, so in your lab, on the next page, you have a page that has the world like that, world map like that. And it's got the latitude and longitude on there. So there's 0, so that would be the equator. So everything from 0 this way is north, 0 that way south. For the longitude, this map, they're pretty nice to you in that they put the prime meridian in the middle of the map, so that makes the longitude easier. There's 0, so 0 to 180 west, 0 to 180 east. All right, but before we start plotting anything on this map here, what we want to do first off is put in the rough location of the worldwide mountain chains. So I'm going to show you a map that has the mountain chains on there. And what you're going to do is on this map here, you're going to put little mountainy symbols like that. Little symbols like that on the map where the mountain ranges are. Now, so basically I'm going to show you a map that has the mountain ranges on it. And then you're going to put the little symbols on here where those mountain ranges are. So turn you over to this map right here. And the little white triangles basically shows you the location of the mountain ranges. Ignore the Argentina thing. So on your map, you want to put the little triangles like I just showed you, the little mountain things there to show the locations. Now, since you're watching on YouTube, you can just hit pause to see this. I'm going to move it along and go back here. So if you're plotting it right now, just hit pause on YouTube, and then you can plot the mountains on your map, and then come back over to this here. All right. So you've already put the mountains on the map. Next thing you want to do, according to directions, is you want to plot the location of those volcanoes and those mountains. So, preferably, what directions say here is it says, use with a colored pencil, label each earthquake with the letter E and a circle. All right. So like, for example, the first one on here for the earthquakes has a latitude of 40 north and a longitude of 120 west. So on my map here, 40 north would be right about there, 120 west is right about there. So that's going to put that earthquake right there. So I'm going to label that with an E and then circle that in one colored pencil. All right. And the next one, all right, 110 east and 5 south. All right. So there's 5 south would be right about there. 110 east would be right about in there. So I'm going to put a little E for earthquake and then circle it like that. So you're going to do the same thing for all that earthquake data. Once you've done that, now you're going to pick a different colored pencil and you're going to plot the location of the volcanoes with a little V with a circle around it. So, for example, volcano is 60 north, 150 west. So 60 north, 150 west to be right about there. So I put a little V, a circle on it in a different color. So I use blue for earthquakes and green for volcanoes. All right. And then I do my next one. All right. 70 west, 35 south. All right. So 35 south would be right there, and 70 west would be right about there. So I put a little V for a volcano with a circle around it like that. All right, so you're going to do the same thing for all this data. So you're going to plot all the earthquakes, all the volcanoes, and then what you want to see is what the relationship is between them. All right? So when you get done, what your map should look basically like is this guy right here. So things that you want to pay attention to is notice where the volcanoes and earthquakes are happening. All right? Are they happening mostly in the ocean? Are they happening mostly in the middle of the continent? Or do they primarily happen at the border between the ocean and the continent? All right? Do the earthquakes, volcanoes, and mountains, do they typically happen together, or do they happen apart from each other? So things like that are what you should be observing as you plot those features on your map here. All right, what side of the continents are there more earthquakes on? All right, so those are things you're going to kind of have to address with the questions for this. All right, so again, you're plotting the location of the mountains from the picture I showed you, using the latitude and longitude data. You're going to plot all the volcanoes in one colored pencil, plot all the earthquakes in another colored pencils. Your map should look roughly like that, and then you just answer the questions based on the map. And that's the lab.